that we are going through a great revolution, economic transformation. There's two parts. We're building a knowledge economy, and as that knowledge economy grows, harnessing the creativity and knowledge of people, we're also going through an urban revolution, where to harness that knowledge, people live in cities, they live in communities, they cluster and concentrate. It's not enough just to build a city of technology, a city with smarter sensors and smarter roads and smarter transit and smarter traffic signals, smarter buildings. We have to build a city of humanity. And part of that means we have to overcome the divides. You know, we not only have inequality in our cities of working class versus creative class, we have increasingly our concentration of wealth in creative communities versus concentration of disadvantage. We have to focus on that. But we also have to build a city of soul, a city of authenticity, a city of reality. And I worry sometimes that too much technology, too much imposition of smart technology there's a contradiction. And it can really squelch out some of that creativity. So I cautioned our group. I said, as much as we need to use technology, we have to build a city for everyone, where everyone's creative talents can flourish, and where the city's soul can shine through. And I think the city that we're in, Barcelona, is a very good illustration of how a city can not only be smarter with regard to parking and transit and infrastructure and biking and scooters and all of that, but a city that really has this soul of creativity and diversity and of a truly great, livable, sustainable city. I think technology is a contributing factor. The way I like to say it is there are three T's of economic growth. Technology is one, and you need to have great advanced technology in universities and companies and communities. But just smart roads and sensors on our buildings won't make a great city. We need to have talent. We need to groom talent, develop talent, have great educational systems, create talent from our communities. But we also have to have a tolerant city, a city of diversity and inclusion that overcomes these divides and haves and have-nots, that breaks through the inequality. And most of all, when all of that comes together in a great city, it's a city that has great quality of place. It's not just a city of great roads and great transit and great technology. It's a city that has a real soul. And one thing I worry is that sometimes the technology can hurt the soul. So whatever technology we apply and our cities do have to become smarter, our roads have to become smarter, our traffic has to be better managed. But at the same time, we can't become so intrusive with technology, a surveillance state, if you will, that soul of vibrancy and anonymity, and that all the things that make the city edgy and sometimes troubling, a little dangerous. I think those are the things we have to, our technology could create almost to an Orwellian city. And I think that's what we have to watch. That's what I've tried to caution people in the smart city movement. A smart city, to a point, is a good city, but a smart city can damp down a lot of the things that make a city great. So I'm not an expert in Latin America. Even with the name Florida, maybe I should be an expert in Latin America, but I'm not. But here's what I can tell you. I think many development theorists and development experts have led places like Latin America down the wrong path. Create export industries, develop closer economic ties. I have always thought of the Latin American countries as being creative. As an American, I've seen much of our music that we import from Latin America. If I look at creativity in food, in the invention of new kinds of foods, new recipes, even in fashion, I see Latin America always as having creativity in its DNA, and with no offense to Asia countries. Some people look at China as the future. I think of China as more a top-down industrial model. I think Latin America has this kind of chaotic creativity, and that can be harnessed for economic growth. Lots of people, rightly or wrongly, point at the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. When I look at them, I look at more Russia and China top-down. I look at India and Brazil as more creativity coming from the ground up. And I think that's what Latin America has in it, a lot of creativity from the bottom. That has been squelched, maybe by local leaders, maybe by colonialism, maybe by imperialism, but I think that's where the Latin American cities and countries have to focus, unleashing. I say every single person is creative, unleashing that creativity of the people. You know, I always use the example, silly, of Jay-Z, right? One of our greatest hip-hop artists who was a drug dealer. But he found music was his passion. And I grew up very working class, you know, very Italian-American, almost like a Sopranos kind of community. I saw more talented and creative people in my hometown than I did at the great university, but their creativity was squelched out. So I think it's really by harnessing that creative talent and using it and seeing it. You know, so many cities looked at the musician, the artist, the young person. Oh, he's a crazy guy. He's not a business person. He's, you know, an outlier. I think by seeing these people as part of the creative mix, and I'll give you an example. It's from America. I was just in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee mayor organized a council of the musicians. I met with them. They said no one ever paid attention to us. They thought we stay up all night, you know, we drink, we play music, but actually we want to grow our city. This mayor is enabling us, and you could see their passion for their city. I often think artists and creative people have even a greater passion for their city than business people. So by reaching out to young people, creative people, neighborhood people, local people, that's the way the mayor or leadership can cultivate that creativity. It doesn't have to come from a big business or a big university. In the United States, many economists, and in the UK, in the advanced world, think, oh, the key to success is having more highly educated, college-educated workers. What I've tried to argue is, yes, that's important, but it's far from the whole story. On the one hand, many of the most successful entrepreneurs didn't go to college. So if that's the case, Bill Gates doesn't count, Stephen Jobs doesn't count, Michael Dell doesn't count. And worse, many of the most creative people come from the bottom. I mentioned in my speech today, 9 in 10 people with a college degree do have a knowledge job. But 4 in 10 members of the knowledge and creative class don't have a college degree. So it's not formal education that's the differentiator. It's this ability to use your creative talent. For some people, schooling just doesn't work. And for some countries that don't have great school systems, they still have great creative talent. So I don't like this formalistic view of human capital equal. Well, I don't even like the word human capital. Humans aren't capital. Humans are humans. I like the idea of a creative person. Every person is creative, and we have to use every person's creativity. And not just a third of us who are members of the knowledge class or creative class. That means the other 66% of us who are currently outside that. We have to use their talents as well. And I agree with Sir Ken Robinson, who finds that a child is much more creative until they start to intervene with the school system that he says squelches the creativity out. So I think, especially for the emerging economies, for the developing world, this reinvention of education as a more humanistic experience. I found in my school, I have a good memory. I'm very blessed that I could memorize my speech. I can look at those pages and memorize them. So I had the nuns, Catholic nuns. I got straight A's. There were kids in my class much smarter than me. They could assemble machinery, they could make guitars, they could make bicycles, but they failed out of school. I felt that many of those children were smarter than me in different domains. They were the smartest people I met, but they were left behind. I think we need not a formal education system that just values my skill set, but a system that values all these different learning styles, including many of these styles that are critical for us to progress today. I would think in terms of a set of priorities or a pyramid of priorities. First, safety is critical. So in any city, you have to make sure the streets are safe and you have to organize for safety. Secondly, you have to create economic opportunity. But just those two things, which most people say, if you have safe streets, low crime, and good opportunity, you won't. No. I would say the most important things is to capture the spirit of the city, to capture the soul of the city. I've actually worked on this with the Knight Foundation in Gallup. We have a website called Soul of the Community. And that soul of the community is captured in the diversity and talents of the people and in the quality of the city itself. So I would engage the people of Rio, the people of cities, in how do they build the city that they love? How do they make their talents? How do they engage in their neighborhoods? Almost like the best companies use the talents of each work group to build a great factory, use the neighborhood talents, the community talents to make a great city. Ask me today, who will lead this transformation? Who will make the smart, sustainable, creative, equitable, just city of the future? They said, is it the mayor? Is it the business leader? Is it the Chamber of Commerce? And I said, no, it's all of us. It's the city builders themselves. So really, by bringing together people from all different domains, industry, NGO, government, from all over the world, we're creating communities of city builders. And I think that's really the force of change in our world. These groups of city builders that are coming together in congresses like this Smart City Congress in Barcelona.